Hello, welcome to Moving Through Menopause with me, Philippa. And today I've got Dr. Shivani Gupta with me. Welcome, Dr. Shivani Gupta. How are you today?
Thank you. I'm doing great.
Oh, well, I'm so excited actually to be having this conversation with you because I'm fascinated by Ayurveda. Absolutely fascinated. I'm a certified yoga teacher, so it probably goes some way to my interests, I must say. So let's tell people about you. You're an expert in this Ayurvedic medicine, and you've got a PhD in all about turmeric. And I mean, that's an amazing spice. I absolutely love that spice.
Yeah.
So many healing properties, and I know we're going to dive right into that. But you've had your own share of health issues. Like lots of us in this area, we kind of get inspired to help people because we found things that we could do that helped us, and to share that wisdom, it's so powerful. So, would you mind sharing a little bit about your story and what inspired you on this journey?
Sure. So, I grew up in Houston, Texas, in the US, and every year we'd go home to India to be with my grandparents and my cousins, and we'd stay at my mom's house and dad's house and run on the streets and have fun and soak up India, which I now get to do with my own children, which is really cool. But growing up, I grew up in these two worlds, and I couldn't understand. Like when I go to India, my grandma just reaches into the spice cabinet and uses turmeric and hing and cumin seeds, simple things to heal us. And when I'm in the US, we run to the drugstore. And it just kept percolating because my world was so dichotomous. And while I grew up, I'd get sick all the time. I'd get air sick, sea sick, car sick. I'd go to a party, I'd get sick. And so I was on chronic antibiotic use that got kind of heavy through high school. And I kept thinking, how come everyone else in life can have fun and I can't? Like, what's wrong with me? Why am I defective? And so it took me till I finally stood up and told my parents, enough is enough. This system is not working. From what I've read, we need to be taking probiotics. And by the way, we're in the land of Ayurveda and yoga. Like, I think they might have a tool somewhere in here that could fix me. And so that set me on my journey. And my parents were very successful, burnt out entrepreneurs by the time I was in college. And so they were perfectly willing to go on this journey with me. And we went to like South India. We did every detox protocol from Ayurveda. And I finally felt healed. I finally healed my own gut, healed my own body. And I thought, wow, why is no one in the world using this system? Like, we wouldn't have to have disease at the rate we have it if we understood how to live this way. And so that's what led me to studying Ayurveda formally and then doing my PhD. And now I get the honor of being a practitioner and teacher of this whole science.
Well, I love that. Eats, oh my goodness, my teeth. East meets West. That's right. I mean, holistic approaches and Western medicine, they can work very well when we put them together. And so obviously the challenges that we're speaking to today specifically are around the menopause transition. And I know from my own experience, it's really important that we, get ahead of this if we possibly can. And I think I hope you don't mind me sharing that, you're perhaps experiencing that transition, here now as we speak almost.
Yes. Yeah. I turned 43 last December, and all of a sudden, I noticed my whole body was shifting as I was approaching my birthday. And I was like, what's wrong? Like, what just changed? Nothing that I always do works. And so it set me on a little quest of what do I have to change? So finally, I was like, well, if A plus B equals C is your own formula, you need a new formula. Let's try D plus E equals F. So I changed my gym, I changed my diet, I changed my level of self-care, I changed my management of my cortisol levels because I was overworked, overstressed, overwhelmed. And now finally, everything's coming back into alignment. My brain, body, and health is coming back into focus. I'm doing a lot of Ayurvedic self-care. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, I mean, there's no doubt that this is powerful medicine, and unfortunately, we're just experiencing some technical troubles here here on Moving Through Menopause. So we're just going to wait and see if she's back. She's back in the room.
Yeah.
So I'm so sorry. We are experiencing some technical troubles, but bear with that can be dealt with in the edit. So so what I'm really interested to understand a little bit more about is what is Ayurvedic medicine,
Sure.
and how can we use it today in this modern world that we're living in?
Sure. So Ayurveda is an entire system of health, healing, and medicine from India that's over 5,000 years old. And it's a system that encompasses a lot. It encompasses our dosha, our individual mind body constitution. We can learn what that is and how to balance it. And I have a dosha quiz on my website that everyone can take to know your different personality type, your body type, so that you can manage better going forward. Then Ayurveda encompasses circadian rhythm. Chronobiology is becoming a big topic right now. But it's really about how are we building a rhythm seasonally, daily, monthly, and then also how are we honoring our sleep and our rhythms each and every day, because that matters too. Then diet, how to eat, when to eat, using spices and herbs. I call them different elixirs and tinctures and teas that we can make to truly heal the body, using spices like turmeric and like the other powerhouse adaptogens that we have from Ayurveda. It encompasses how to sleep and honoring sleep. And then big detoxes. We do annual and seasonal detoxes to keep the body healthy and to keep us from accumulating gut health issues, lymphatic issues. And finally, Ayurveda has a very big focus on gut health. We teach about ama, or we teach about Agni, which is the digestive fire that we have in our body, and honoring that digestive fire as the fire that motivates us and pushes us and keeps us healthy.
Oh, well, I mean, I love everything that you just said. I can't promise to say that I understand it all, but you know, what would, let maybe just breaking it down a bit, talking about nutrition and the nutritional approaches. You said that there's a way that we can discover our own unique approach that would suit us. What did you call that again?
Dosha,
that was it. So increasingly individualized medicine is something that we're hearing a lot about. And I know that my own experience of Chinese medicine and also the little that I understand about Ayurveda is that it is about trying to get to the root causes. What are your individual tendencies and the kinds of things that you can then do to address your potential issues that you might have. So, I mean, can you give examples of different types, perhaps?
Yes, and it's so important to know your dosha, because when we hit different transition points of life, perimenopause, menopause, all these different time frames, knowing your dosha helps you balance yourself better in those times. Right. Because then you understand why you tend to go overheated or you tend to have poor sleep or all those things are impacted by the dosha. So
can I just ask, does that stay the same then, your dosha? It's a thing that you are forevermore, is it?
So you're born with your dosha. Your date of birth, your time of birth, all of that contributes. Your parents' doshas contribute to your dosha. So you are given your dosha. Like I'm a pitta dosha from birth. But we can have different life effects and life impacts or traumas or changes that push us really into a big imbalance and almost make us become like another dosha. So I'll meet like a pitta who has a huge kapha imbalance. And she's like, I just don't know what to do. I don't feel like myself in my body. I don't feel right. And so that's typically someone who I say, okay, let's balance you back to your original dosha. Let's get you into alignment, mind, body, and spirit in alignment. And then from there, you can hold that balance of your true dosha. And so the three doshas are vata, pitta, and kapha. Here in the West, you might have heard them as vata, pitta, and kapha. I just don't know I can't keep saying it that way because it's awkward to me. But the vata dosha is made of wind and air. So this is someone who tends to be thin-boned, thin-bodied, tiny features like tiny wrists and things like that, long face. And a vata person in their mind tends to be like an Energizer bunny. They're constantly in motion. Think of like a tornado. They're just constantly moving. They tend to have certain health issues like poor digestion, poor sleep, erratic sleep. And so even in menopause, those same types of issues would happen in that transition point because they're further exacerbated from the original dosha. So the vata person is going to have those issues in that transition. Then you have a pitta person, medium body. This is someone with early graying of their hair. This is someone who tends to be reddish skin, reddish hair, medium body, right in the middle, not too thin, not heavy and strong. They're like just somewhere in the middle. And a pitta person tends to be fiery. The energy of pitta is fire with water. And so this person has all the traits of a volcano. Like they can explode on people, they can erupt, they get really hangry, they have these very powerful appetites. They're very driven and ambitious, but they can be very destructive if they're not managed really well. And so this transition in menopause is someone who's always overheated, hot flashes, night sweats, angry. Some of my friends who have perimenopause right now are like, I am just raging and I can't even control it. And I'm like, I know, this is just the volcano of pitta. And so normally we have to keep ourselves cool, calm, and collected. And I think as we go through these big transition points, we have to do like a double, triple effort to stay cool down and manage ourselves. And then finally there's kapha, and the kapha person is earth energy with water. So this is someone who's bigger boned, stronger. They can lift heavier. They tend to have rounder features, curly hair, curly eyes. Everything's a little rounder and softer. It's a very Mother Earth energy. This is the caretaker, the nurturer. They're very one thing at a time in life. You cannot rush them. They're not going to do 10 things at once. This is that very nurturing type of person. And so kapha people tend to have slower digestion, slower metabolism, have a hard time getting up off the couch and moving. And so the goal there is to support kapha in getting in motion so that they can then stay in motion. And then when they're done, they're done. And so a lot of what I do is just showing women that what your dosha is can be such a beautiful thing, and you can leverage it to have the life you want. Let's just figure out which one it is and get you balanced and get you back into your alignment.
Oh, wow. So we can use different approaches to achieve this balance, I suppose, all those different Ayurvedic tools
Exactly.
at your disposal, and nutrition would just be one of those elements, I'm guessing.
Correct. You can use sleep, you can use food, you can use exercise and movement, yoga, walking, pranayam. You can use spices and herbs. You can use circadian rhythm and adjusting your rhythm. There's so many different things that self-care tools from Ayurveda are very powerful. I'm doing them myself. Today I was like, let me do a head oil massage. So my hair is all like thick and different today, but it feels better. And I did my oil pulling and I did my tongue scraping. So we have a lot of tools in Ayurveda that give us like the gentle daily detox we need. And then we can maintain vibrant health, vitality, and those things that we want to maintain.
Yeah, I suppose January, quite topical, really. Detoxification, isn't it? After you've had the excesses of holiday seasons, and so these sort of cleaning away, out with the old, in with the new. That's something that a lot of natural approaches speak to doing this on a regular basis. Monks do this on a regular basis, and it's not really something that we do really so much in this my part of the world anyway. And I mean, certainly not in America. I lived there for a few years, so I know that for the most part, that's not really inherent in their culture, is it?
No.
So where might you begin with that sort of approach?
There's a few ways to look at it. One big thing is as we're transitioning into perimenopause and menopause, most of us were taught to live our current lifestyle from our parents. Like I was taught to live in a house the way I live in it and feed my kids the way I feed them. And all these things were from my own childhood. And so, like you said, if you're in the West, we don't have a pattern and habit of detoxification. If that's not part of our lifestyle or our ethos of understanding, we're just not going to do it. We're going to assume that year round, you can eat however you eat. Then you get to vacation where you get to really indulge. And sometimes when you want to lose weight, you do a couple things to try. And hopefully that works for you. Doesn't work a lot of the time because we all tend to gain the weight back. But really, we're missing that conversation around detox. And what's interesting is when you hit menopause, a lot of the time we're having exacerbated symptoms is this accumulation in the lymph. Lymph isn't moving, thus gut is having inflammation and issues. Our reproductive flow is not there anymore. And so all of a sudden, that stagnation in the body is causing trouble. And so my big message is, as we're moving into menopause, can we just detox more? Kindly, though, not like stripping out the body. In Ayurveda, we're very much about being whole and nourished, like only removing from the body the ama or toxins that accumulate over time, and then resupporting the body and being whole and healthy and strong again. And so I think of it as 3 different ways to do it. One, you can do an annual huge detox, which we pretty much always prescribe out of Ayurveda. We're like, everyone needs the big annual one. Take 3 weeks and purify. And in that case, I think it's better to go to an Ayurvedic center because they're going to do the treatments. They're going to have you do enemas and colonics. It's really involved, but it's very effective. And I've done it, and I did it pre-pregnancy. And it's like, I think it's the best thing we can do for reversing chronic disease and then holding healthy. That's one, if you can commit 1, 2, or 3 weeks and do those profound detoxes. Then let's assume you can't take 3 weeks off, which a lot of people can't. Then can you take 1 week at the intersection of seasons? So when winter meets spring, spring meets summer, summer meets fall, at those intersection moments, you have this opportunity to clear out the dosha of the previous season before you move into the next one. So I'll take summer to fall as an example. In the summer, we have high pitta season. It's burning hot. We have this accumulation of pitta. Come fall winds, it's like fall winds on a fire, and it blows the fire all over the place. So you'll see we have this tendency in fall season to say, I'm so overwhelmed, I'm so overwhelmed, I'm so burnt out. Really, it's the burnt out from the summer, and we didn't take the time to clean and clear it out. So right now in the winter, we're feeling all inflamed from the holidays, parties and alcohol and fun and all that. But really the spring is not here yet. We're still in winter. We're still in hibernation mode. It's still freezing. It's not a time to detox. It's not really a time to juice cleanse and do anything like that. It's a time to you can gently clean and clear the decks, but I really take this first 2 weeks of the year and just chill and like adjust and calibrate very gently into the new year, because we just got through cold and flu season and inflammation season and all the things. And so really adjusting beautifully is the key. So seasonal detox is the second thing. And then the third one is daily detox. And that's Ayurvedic self-care. In Ayurveda, we teach about using a copper tongue scraper every day, because that will clear all the organs of the body. It'll remove the white film that's on most of our tongues. It'll help our taste buds work better. But because it gently detoxes all the organs of the body, it's like your daily investment. And then we teach oil pulling. Then we teach yoga. There's a lot of ways. We teach circadian rhythm and circadian sleep. Sleeping really well clears the lymphatic as well if we're investing in sleeping properly.
Whew, gosh, I mean, that's a lot of information to process. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm just going to take that in for a moment. I've heard of the tongue scraping before, and I suppose, I mean, it might be too much information, but I give my tongue a good brush every morning. But I don't have a particular tool that I would use to scrape it. So you mentioned copper.
Yeah.
And that's important.
Yeah, it's an antibacterial metal. So it's kind of like a self-cleaning metal, and it lasts forever. Like I've had my tongue scraper for 13, 15, maybe 20 years, because I've been married 20 years now. And it lasts forever. But I think of it as like my daily self-hygiene, and I love habit stacking. So I love when people will stack, it's like brush your teeth, do your tongue scraper. On the days when you don't have to talk to anyone, add oil pulling on top of it. That's just taking sesame oil, about 2 tablespoons worth, putting it in the mouth for 5 to 20 minutes. You can swish it around towards the end, and then you spit it out in your trash can, not your sink, toilet, or shower. So I did that today, and I have like such great oral health. I feel so clean. And I know I detoxed a bit from the weekend. So I think we can do little tiny things that make such a profound impact. And that's where we're really investing in our vibrant health and our vitality over the long haul. I just dealt with perimenopause. I shouldn't say just dealt. It's a season I am within, but I needed it to get under control so I could get back to focus and work. And I needed to feel like I had a handle on it. And I honestly always go to Ayurvedic self-care first. I'm like, more yoga, more sleep, more walking in nature, circadian rhythm, self-care. And that's like my protocol every time. That and fixing gut health. So I have my own 6-week program where I teach all this, because to me, if I didn't give everyone the whole package of understanding how to apply this lifestyle to yourself, then I'm not doing a proper service of showing humanity how we can not reverse aging, but constantly feel amazing as we age. That's my goal.
Well, I admire that, and I support you in that, because it is that, it's the life in your years, not the years in your life, and what could be better, than feeling fabulous? Nothing is the answer to that.
Right.
But this system approach that you have in Ayurvedic medicine is really speaking to the pillars of health. The gut health is a real, and I think what you said about approaching menopause, this time when a time of transition, things that you used to get away with, you cease getting away with anymore. And so, and gut health is something that, for me personally, has been something that I've struggled with. So, I mean, we're talking about the detoxification piece for a few moments there, but in terms of then reintroducing nourishment into the body, appropriate strategies that we could boost our hormonal health. Where in Ayurvedic medicine, where would we go for that?
We have a lot that we do with the spices. And so I call them super spices, because here in the West, we have superfoods, and we're into our blueberries and our salmon and our spinach and all the different goji berries and things that we get into, hemp seeds. These things are all great. They each have a purpose. But we could also just as easily reach into the spice cabinet of Ayurveda. We use turmeric like it's going out of style. Like, we're obsessed with turmeric. Hing is a spice that I use a lot for gut health. So a lot of people have gone into being vegan, vegetarian, and eating a lot more beans. And it's funny, people invite me, they're like, oh, I made beans and I know you're vegetarian, it'll be great. And I'm like, I'm not touching beans if you have not cooked them properly. We heat our oil, we add cumin seeds. We add a spice called hing. In the West, it's called asafoetida, just a pinch. But those two are going to pre-digest that food. So anytime we're cooking lentil soup or stews or anything with beans, we're pre-digesting that food. So there's a lot of different things like that. There's a powerful herb called shatavari out of Ayurveda. That's the queen of reproductive adaptogenic herbs out of Ayurveda. And so I love that one. And I created a whole tea around it. I called it hormone rebalance tea. And I just renamed the tea menopause tea, because it's for that woman who's having hot flashes and night sweats. She needs the adaptogenic support. And what's cool is adaptogens are Mother Nature's intelligence put into our body, and it does exactly what our body needs. So, for example, if I took ashwagandha and I'm super stressed and anxious, it could calm me down a few notches. If another woman was feeling the blues and feeling low that day, it would lift her up. It's like a thermostat in the body doing exactly what it needs to do. And turmeric does that too. Turmeric is adaptogenic. It goes in there and handles the big issues, then the smaller issues. Turmeric is my area of study. So I love talking about how turmeric is antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal, antioxidant. So when we speak about aging and our joint pain and all the issues that come, it helps with that. And my goal has been to prove that we can use it as a true solution for joint pain that's natural. And that's what I've been proving for 8 years now, is you can take a very potent turmeric and get the impact you want. So there's a lot there, but I would start with something as easy as hing and cumin in your food, taking turmeric in its potent form, which is the supplement form, and then finding the adaptogens like shatavari and ashwagandha and taking them regularly so the body feels supported as we transition.
Yeah, I mean, I'm afraid that herb that you're talking about, and I can't remember the name of it,
Hing.
but yeah, say it again.
Hing, hing.
Hing. I've never heard of that herb.
Most people have not heard of it, but can I tell you, it's my favorite gut healing herb. My father-in-law, who lives with me, he always had he'd have a day where he's like, my gut's upset, and I was like, no worries, Dad, you and I will do it together. And we would make a tea out of hing and this special purple salt we have in India called kala namak, and we would get relief. Any digestive issues get relieved. And then we'd have khichdi, which is our favorite gut healing food out of Ayurveda. And we'd have a khichdi day, and then the next day we'd be fine. And so it can be really simple. It can be a food and a spice, and you're good again. It doesn't have to be things that shut off our digestion and PPIs and all these things. And what's cool is in modern science, like the British Medical Journal just published that curcumin is as effective as PPIs to help the body. So we have a lot of science coming out showing that curcumin's as effective as the things on the market.
Yeah. Well, I mean, food as medicine is definitely where I'm all about food as medicine, and turmeric. I think I'm glad you cleared it up though, because I've got it in a pot in the cupboard and I put it in the curries that I cook.
Good.
But what you're talking about for a therapeutic dose is really that you would have to supplement in order to, yeah. Okay.
I think we can all take turmeric and use it. I mean, I'm Indian, so we cook with turmeric. I'm not going to skip the turmeric. But with turmeric, we always have black pepper or a healthy fat to increase the absorption. But once I studied turmeric, I realized, whenever I have pain, I'm given NSAIDs. And then my stomach hurts. And that's not fair. I don't want side effects. When I want solutions, I want no side effects. So my hypothesis was, if I sourced a very potent form of curcumin, and out of the entire turmeric plant, only 3% is the curcuminoids. Out of those 3 curcuminoids, the one curcumin is the most effective at reducing inflammation. Could we win at inflammation? Because from what I was seeing all around me with my family history, inflammation was that root cause issue. And even now, as I'm entering perimenopause, I'm like, I have to actively manage inflammation going forward. Otherwise, when I try to work out more, walk more, anything, my feet hurt more, this hurts more. I don't want to deal with pain. I just want to bypass this whole process if possible. And so I lean into turmeric all the time for that. So I'm like, I'm just going to high dose my turmeric and stay well.
Yeah, well, it's fascinating what you say. CBD, and we've got our own endogenous cannabinoids in the body that we can synthesize with movement. But what did you call the turmeric equivalent?
Turmeric, curcumin. So curcumin is the extract from turmeric.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then I built a formula around it because I was so curious. Can we take this and put it in the hands of doctors and have doctors offer it as an adjunct solution? And that's been really cool to see. That's like the most fulfilling part of my work.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the thing to say about supplements is not all supplements are equal, are they? And it is a bit of a minefield to navigate your way around supplementation as a lay person. But
even as a practitioner, I'm always like, whose D works, guys? I just need a D that actually raises my levels. I'm testing my blood work quarterly. What do I do? So yeah, I know it's tough, but I work with hundreds of doctors. So I end up interacting with them, researching, going to their medical conferences, speaking at the functional medicine conferences. So I get to meet the founders, like you're meeting me and I'm a supplement founder, right? So when you meet the person, you can understand what they're about, what their values are, what their ethos is around what they're making. And then slowly you find that group of supplements that you can take to your body.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is certainly one approach, the nutritional approaches, supplementation, the movement. Movement is the thing that I really use for my own health and share with my tribe. But it, all of this stuff stands to be more powerful when we put it together into this formula. And so inflammation is definitely something that is a modern ailment, and too many people are walking around with levels of background inflammation that they're unaware of, that are harmful to health. So how can I mean, we've talked about turmeric being a potential solution to that. Is there anything else that Ayurvedic medicine has up its sleeve?
Yeah, for inflammation.
Yes, yes.
Ginger lemon tea,
Oh.
simple habit, simple ritual. I remember I stayed at an Ayurvedic spa in India in Rishikesh called Ananda. Ananda means
Oh.
bliss. This is like a top Ayurvedic spa. My mom was like, I will take you for 2 days. This is like a 6-star spa you're making me pay for, but I get it. This is like what you want to build in the world. So you have to go experience it. But I'll never forget every morning, you know how in hotels you can fill out what you want for breakfast? In this hotel, you could fill out, would you like your tea as ginger tea, ginger lemon tea, or ginger lemon tea with honey? And they would custom drop you your tea in the morning. And it was so luxurious. And so, not that we can all live that life every day, but here in my home, I do make ginger lemon tea fresh. And that's a little ritual I have. And the more we can do these gut healing rituals, ignite the digestive fire, support the digestive system, the more the digestive system is going to support us and love us back, which we
Yeah.
need as we age. We need it for our immune health. We need it for our metabolism, for our vitality, for everything, for our brain health. Gut-brain axis is connected. And so that's what I love about Ayurveda. Ayurveda taught gut health forever ago. So we have a lot of tools for gut health. We teach about how to sleep. We teach about how to drink. We teach never drink ice water ever, but never drink ice water or iced tea right before a meal. It's like turning off a fire. And then you expect that fire to process and assimilate and absorb the nutrition from your food. So a lot of different things like that are simple habits that you can incorporate, but over the long haul, the benefit compounds because you're not then always kind of dampening or hampering your body's ability to do what it wants to do, which is keep us healthy. Our body wants to be in homeostasis. It's just modern day society has made it hard. Like even in my own home, I have water systems, I have air systems, everything I can do to keep it clean. And then I'm like, I need to go find a farmer. Like I need to even source the food far better than how I'm doing, even though I'm trying my hardest with organic and fresh and the better pans and the better everything. And so just imagine the accumulation of the negative impacts far outweighs usually the speed at which we're able to detox it. So that's why it's even more important that we take the time for the daily detoxing, the seasonal detoxing, and those kinds of things, and really invest in gut health. So our gut health is so powerful and strong, we're able to do great things. So Ayurveda teaches us use herbal teas. And so that's like an easy message. So copper tongue scraper is inexpensive, easy. Using tea is easy. Taking great turmeric is easy. But if you could just make an herbal tea for yourself, or in my case, I love jasmine green tea. I have my caffeinated teas, but you can have that in a rhythm throughout the day. And that can be like a simple habit. I call it tea time is me time. And I check in with myself every few hours and I just ask my intuition, what do I need today? Have I supported myself? Am I hydrating? Have I set up my day so I get to eat today? But just asking yourself good questions leads to your intuition giving you the best answers and leading you in the best direction for your own health.
Yes, I mean, I love that, and so sleep. It's such an important piece of this puzzle, isn't it?
Yes.
And I've listened to people talk about don't get too hung up on sleep because worrying about not sleeping isn't going to make the situation better, is it?
Sure. Yeah.
But as much as we can to get a reasonable amount of good quality sleep every night, and to feel restored when you wake up in the morning. And so where does Ayurveda help us with getting a better night's sleep?
So Ayurveda teaches us we must sleep from 10 to 2 on the clock. That part of the clock is called the Pitta time of day. And so you're leveraging the fires of Pitta at night to clean, clear, and burn through all the bad and really set you up for success the next day. So I think of it as little janitors that come out. I imagine like little green garbage trucks and janitor men who come and they accumulate any negative thoughts, emotions. I watch a lot of garbage on social media that I absorb into my brain for no good reason. And so they accumulate all that. Then they go into my heart. Anything negative that happened, anything that did not serve that I might have picked up energetically, collect that. Then go into my gut. I'm promising you I have processed food, I'm sure, every single day. Inevitably, the tea bag is not paper, or the tortilla wasn't perfect. The gluten-free toast is not perfect either. So they pick all that up. And then in the morning, they evacuate it. Now, if we do not sleep 10 to 2, which is the most important time of our sleep, we're not going to have that lymphatic clean out. We're not going to have the glymphatic clean out. And we accumulate up to 3 pounds of waste just in our brain. So all the women who are out there, myself included, all the women out there complaining about their brain fog and they're tired and they can't remember anything and, the headache, we are not serving ourselves, because we as women, a lot of us stay up late. I know for me, I'm like, now's my time to relax. 10 to 11. Didn't have to be 10 to 11. Could have been 9 to 10. It's just about the discipline of finishing out the house, the responsibilities of home and children, whatever the responsibilities are, so you can have that switch over earlier. And so Ayurveda teaches us finish eating by 7, because bedtime should be at 10. So finish eating 3 hours before bed. Finish any work 2 hours before bed. Switch into just Ayurvedic self-care mode, which is yoga, meditation, the self-care rituals for detoxing, so that you are in bed, no iPhone, no phones by 9:45, asleep by 10. And a lot of people will think this is easy because they sleep on time. But a lot of people stay up late and then they capture that pitta fire energy close to midnight and end up staying up later. And they call themselves night owls. But really, pitta energy is available for 2 purposes. You could work late and then be tired the next day and sluggish, or you could leverage it to clean and clear and rejuvenate the body. And so that's one of my big missions is, guys, if we're inflamed and we're creating this chronic, low-grade, persistent inflammation that's causing disease, could we just as easily invest in sleep and sleep on time? Because 10 to 2 is worth 2 to 3 times as much as the 2 to 6 a.m. sleep that we're going to get. So give your body that gift, leverage the circadian clock, leverage your melatonin release that happens naturally at 10 p.m. Sleep when all of, the animal kingdom, most of the animal kingdom is sleeping at night because nature's lights are off. And you will see a profound shift in your health and in your energy levels and in your brain function, in your gut health, in your immune health, all those things. And it's simple, sounds simple. Might not be easy to do, sounds simple. So I like to encourage everyone, move the time back slowly, practice these self-care rituals as your gift to yourself at the end of the night. And they alone will help you transition into bedtime.
And they'll help you transition through menopause. So
very true.
Yeah, I mean, you've given such amazing value there in all of those tips. But if you had to only give 3 top tips, what would they be?
If I could only do 3 health tips for the rest of my life, my number 1 would be walking in nature once or twice a day for 45 minutes at a time. I'm now calling it my circadian walk because I'm having to not work out in my HIIT training workouts that are super intense. And so I was like, well, what is the alternative? The alternative is every other day you're doing a morning walk for 45 minutes and you're going in the evening again and moving in nature, because you're going to wake up the sun in the body in the morning. You're going to set it in the evening. Number 2, take your turmeric. To me, it's the super spice of all time because of how many ways that the body receives it and utilizes it, and because inflammation is that root cause issue that we as humanity must address. Otherwise, we're always going to be struggling the way we're struggling now. And then number 3 would be a copper tongue scraper. Tiny investment, but huge, huge results. Because it's going to not only clear the lymphatic, it's going to support that gut digestive fire getting ignited in the morning. And I really like that everyone gets that going.
Oh, well, I'm going to do all of that.
Nice.
Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. So tell me more about the business that you have created and how are you going about spreading this message, this amazing message of Ayurvedic medicine and helping women worldwide. What is it you're getting up to?
I did my master's and PhD, and my goal with the PhD was always to write books to impact the world. And once I finished, everyone said, if you're going to talk about turmeric all day and you're going to say everyone can take turmeric all day, why don't you just make one? And so I created my formula 8 years ago, And it's now used by hundreds of doctors day in and day out. So orthopedics, rheumatology, functional medicine, primary care, that's mainly the wheelhouse I speak to, and chiropractic. And so now it's 8 years later. So I just got a Hay House book deal. I'm writing a whole book on inflammation, which is so exciting. So I get to share my message with the world. And then the supplements are impacting lives everywhere because we sell online. And so a lot of people reach out and they're like, my hip pain, my knee pain, my back pain, my hands losing function. We're able to create these. I created these formulas and formulated them that hold them pain free. And so that's really exciting. And just this year, we got international distribution. So my supplement sells on my website, fusionaryformulas.com. Or if people are calling from international, they reach out to us and we give them the distributor's website and everything, and people can order from around the world. And I made a very special code for your audience. Moving Through Menopause will give them 15% off at Fusionary.
Oh. Well, thank you so much for doing that. That's so wonderful. And thank you so much for this conversation today. So many fantastic tips for listeners, and simple, small steps that, anybody can make a start getting these healthy habits embedded into their lives every day. So thank you, Dr. Shivani. It's been wonderful to meet you, and thank you so much for giving you time today to help us all move better towards menopause, and just women's health is, I'm sure, so much the better for having you online with your supplements. So thanks again. It's wonderful to have spoken, and I will say goodbye online for now, but hang around as I